everybody, my name is Katie and welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm doing something kind of fun. So I decided that I'm going to make a scrapbook of my undergrad and graduate college years so that later in life I can look back on them and recall some funny moments or stories and memories that I've had. The good times, the rough times, the fun times, all the times. So I'll just be showing you the title page because I just want to keep everything else kind of personal, if that makes sense. So I will be showing you what I do there, and I hope that this video kind of inspires you to do something similar, maybe with high school or college as well if you're in college, or a fun trip that you went on in the past or are going to in the future, because those are always fun to make little books out of. But basically for the pages that I'm not going to show you, I'll just kind of explain what I'm planning to do. So I have like my door markers from when I was in my dorm that were like on the outside of my door. I don't know what they're called, like door tags, door name tags, I'm not really sure. But I'll be putting those in there, and then I'll also be printing out some polaroids of things that I have on my phone, like pictures that I took throughout my first year. And I will be printing them out on my Polaroid printer and then just gluing those in and writing little captions and stuff. So that's basically that. I don't think you're really missing out on much. I think the title page is like where most of the artsy stuff is. So that's what I'll be showing you today. And this intro is really long and I apologize for that. So I'm not gonna hold you any longer. Let's go ahead and start with the process. So here's the book I decided to use. As you can see on the front, it has a giraffe and like cute little, I don't know, are those flower designs on the front? But then anyways, I'm opening it up, and something cool about it is it has all black pages, which I think is like pretty cool and unique. So to work with that, I'm going to be using white pens, as you will see later. But basically, as you could see in like the little tray that I have here, I have the door name tags I was talking about earlier, and then you could see some of the pictures that I'm planning to put in. And like I explained earlier, I'll just be writing captions of the stories that go behind those, or the specific memories that relate to those, and so on and so forth. So here I am doing my thing, just kind of making the set look pretty with my plant. And so to start off on this black paper that I have, I took my pencil, and it's kind of hard to see on camera here, but I could see it in real life. You can kind of see it. But basically, I just wrote the words in like this cute hand letter cursive type font, and it says year 1 because it is my first year, and I will be doing 5 years of this since I will be doing 2 years of undergrad and 3 of grad. And that's why I didn't label it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, just because that's confusing. And I know that's the more traditional path, but that's not the path I'm personally taking. But if that is something that you are currently doing, like I think writing the words freshman, sophomore, junior, senior in that cursive font will look really pretty, but instead I'm just doing years 1 through 5. And so once I was satisfied with how it looked in pencil, I then took my Jelly Roll white pen. I believe I got this on Amazon. I'm not really sure. If I happen to randomly find a link somehow, I will put it in the description box. If not, I'm sorry, but I'm sure you can just look up Jelly Roll 08 because I think that's the size of it, and white pen. And then I think it should come up, I'm not really sure, but that's the pen that I'm using. And at first I was thinking I was gonna color in it, but once I outlined it completely, I kind of liked the look that it had with the black on the inside as well. So I just kind of kept it like that because I thought that looked cool. And then I took an index card because, so here's the thing, the paper's black, right? And I wanted to paint something on it. And when you paint on white, colors are so much more vibrant than when you paint on black. It's like kind of hard to do. And also, I didn't want the stress of like painting white on the actual black paper and then messing up somehow, and then I have to lose a page or kind of fix it somehow. That's just really stressful, so I wanted to avoid that. So I just took this index card instead. I cut it in half, and on one of the halves I drew out a leaf to represent fall, and then I erased it, like for the most part, just so that you can't really see the pencil line. I can see the pencil line enough to where I know what I drew, but it's not so dark that when I paint it, you'll see through it. So it's this very, very faint outline that I left. And then on the other half, I drew a flower to represent spring, and I did the same thing with the whole erasing most of it. And now it's time to get out the paint. So I'm starting with the leaf. So I took my yellow paint, put a little bit into my paint container. I don't know if that's what it's called, but basically I'm just painting the right side of the leaf, and I wanted it to have an ombre effect, so I gradually introduced some orange into that until it got more concentrated in the center. So basically I wanted to go from yellow on the right to orange in the middle, and then finally to go with red on the left side. And as you can see, as I'm pouring out my red paint, it like completely splat out. Like, it's so liquidy. So don't worry, I put that back in the jar because I didn't want to waste it, but it just kind of took me by surprise. I was like, why did it come out so fast? But anyways, I introduced the red slowly once I got further to the left, and I literally used barely any because it's so pigmented. And then once I finished the red side on the left side, I took kind of a orangey brown paint color that I had and colored in the stem. And as you can see now, I am pouring the red paint back into the container because no wasting here. And then I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. So now I'm going to work on the flower portion of my design. So here I just took a pretty pink color because I wanted a pink flower, something to contrast with the orangey yellowy thing I got over going on the leaf. So I just literally painted the whole thing pink, and I also decided I wanted an ombre effect like I had on the leaf because it just kind of looked boring being pink. So then I took my white paint, which ended up being really chunky for some reason. I don't know if you can tell. I don't think you can really tell on camera, but just trust me, it's really chunky. So it was kind of hard to ombre, and I really didn't get as dramatic of a one as I wanted, but you can kind of see it there. It goes from really light in the center to darker on the outside. But then for the little anthers in the middle, I'm pretty sure if that's what they're called, hopefully bio is not failing me. I'm pretty sure they're anthers. But for those things in the middle, I mixed together like the tiniest drop of black into some of the pink, and then I wanted a little itty bitty bit of red, but we all know that my red is very liquidy, and I completely overestimated its ability, and it just splattered all inside of my pink. So I put it in a new compartment and put a little bit of red from that compartment into the other compartment. It was this whole thing. But then I drew in those lines in the center there, and then using some yellow paint, I drew on the filaments, which I'm pretty sure that's what those are called as well. I really, really hope I don't look dumb right now and that bio is doing me good. And now, by the time I have finished painting the flower, the leaf has dried. So I am drawing the little veins in the leaf, as you can see here, with my Pilot G2 .38 tip. It's a very, very, very fine tip, and I love this pen a lot. I use it in school, like it's my go-to pen when I do things on paper at least. And so then once I finished drawing it out, I cut out the leaf, which was a task, let me tell you, because it had all the little points and stuff, so it took a while, but the end result was so totally worth it. It looks amazing against the black background. The color completely pops, and I'm like really proud of it. It looks so good. And now I took that same black pen on the flower and I outlined the anthers and the filaments because I thought they didn't pop as much as I wanted them to, so I outlined them to make them stand out more. And then I also outlined the petals because it kind of just looked like a blob and you couldn't really tell it was a flower. So I kind of just pushed it in the direction to look more like a flower. And then once I was satisfied, I cut it out in the same way I cut out the leaf, but it was a lot easier to do so. And there they are against the paper. I think they look really cool. And now I am just placing them on the paper where I want in the direction of tilt that I want, because I'm going to be writing the years on each of them. So this past year, my freshman year, was 2019 fall, 2020 spring. So on the fall leaf, I am writing 2019 in the white gel pen, and then 2020 on the flower. And it looks very light at first, so I had to wait for it to dry before I put on a second layer on top to make it thicker. So I was just kind of waiting for a little bit, and then I went over it again after I waited, and there it looks, and there's how it looks on the paper. Super cool. I'm like obsessed with it. And now finally for the bottom, in pencil, I am just writing welcome to a new beginning, because literally college is like a new fresh start. And so I am also drawing some tiger paw prints because tiger is my mascot, and also it's just kind of cool, like it's like a footstep, like you're walking to somewhere new, and I liked that idea, so I just drew that in with my pencil first, and then I went over it with my gel pen. But I was very, very picky about these paw prints because I couldn't get them right for whatever reason. Like I just couldn't draw them to look like paw prints. So as you could see, I'm like erasing and redrawing like crazy. But once I finally got it, then I was able to outline it in that gel pen. Then lastly, I took my glue stick, and I wanted to use a glue stick rather than liquid glue because I didn't want the paper to be all wrinkly, because I'm actually going to start my first page of this year on the back of this page, so that would kind of be bad if it wrinkled through. So I just used a glue stick. I got an old envelope paper, and that way I wouldn't get it all over my desk. Pounded it on with my fists, as you could see, to make sure it was really on. And I thought it would be a good idea to try to make a protective covering, like, you know, those like clear protective coverings that you can slip something inside of. I thought it'd be cool to make one of those, so I tried to. So I put 2 pieces of clear tape together, but then when I put it on top of the piece of paper that I have, just to see how it would look, you can like totally see like the lines of where the tape overlaps, and also like horizontal lines of like where the tape was pulled. It just didn't look good, so I just threw that away. And then I looked at the covers that was provided with the book itself, and I didn't like how they made it look foggy. Like, I don't know, I really just liked the dark black look against the bright colors. Like I love the contrast, and I felt like that covering took it away. So I just decided that I'll be careful whenever I view this and just kind of go with it bare. So now I am putting it back into my book, and here is a close-up on the final front page. I'm really happy with how it looks, and I'm excited to continue with doing the rest of the pages of this, and who knows, maybe even next year I will show you my front page for year 2. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. If you liked it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe down below because I post videos every single Sunday, and I hope to see you back again next week. Bye.